Nobody talks about this ever. All right. I have yet to hear somebody talk about this concept I'm about to explain very, very quickly here. Being attractive comes with a price. Being smart and acting on that accidentally or on purpose to a point where people actually witness it, that comes with a price. Being attractive, being smart, you know, that can cause somebody to really want to shrink themselves down at a certain point when they start to see that most people, they see the attractiveness that you carry, all right? And that's where it stops. They don't care that, you may be going through or have gone through stuff. Maybe if you're watching this, you might have gone through a hard time, or maybe not. Maybe you're actually a really high achiever, and you're doing pretty well for yourself, right? Um, or you know, you're living comfortably, or you're financially free. It could be any age, really, any demographic, any gender, right? It's not limited to anyone or any demographic, age, gender. This is for everybody. This is an inclusive environment, right? So people see that. They just see your attractiveness. That's all they see. They don't care the work you've put in. They don't care the trials you've been through. They don't care um, how often you have to, fight battles. Or if you don't fight battles, they don't see how valuable to the community you are, because everyone likes you. So, you don't have to fight any battles, right? But let's say that you go to the library, for example, or the airport, or the workplace, okay, um, or even a doctor's office. It could be anywhere where there's a set group of people for a confined space for a certain period of time, where you're going to be for a certain period of time. Are you following me? All they see is your good looks. They don't know anything about you. Uh, Even if it's like your coworkers, most people nowadays try to keep their lives private unless, you know, they treat their workplace like a club, right? Then of course you're not going to be so private, I guess, about your life. But most people, all they see and know is you're attractive, and that irritates them. I would say that even it can offend them. Okay, it can irritate them. Maybe it'll offend them. Uh, it'll make them insecure, so they'll start projecting. Again, it can go for either gender, right? Men on men, women on women. Even women could be jealous of men because women want attention, and an attractive guy walks in, and now everyone's looking at him instead of her, and the other way around, right? You can have a guy with a high ego and he's very attractive, and then a really attractive woman walks in, or maybe he's not attractive, but he has a really high ego, and an attractive woman walks in, and now everyone's looking at her, and now his ego's so high or whatever, and now he's jealous of the girl getting the attention, and or maybe she rejected him or something, right? It can go either way. Both genders are different. It doesn't matter any age, right? It's just it happens across the board. And the reason why I said at the beginning is this isn't talked about. Nobody talks about this because this is something I've recently noticed. I didn't wasn't sure if I wanted to make a video about it because it's getting late in the night, but I thought to myself, you know what? Somebody out here needs to hear this message. So I started to make the video. My laptop ran out of storage, so I deleted some stuff and continued to make the video. Still wouldn't hold the recording, so I had to delete more stuff. So that told me that, okay, like somebody really needs to hear this, because something's preventing me from, my computer is preventing me from putting this out there. So, before before something else happens, guys, I just want to put this out here, okay? So, if you're attractive, that's all people see. They get jealous, envious, maybe offended, right? And that's a problem. That is a problem, Because it's like, go watch a video I just made a couple hours ago, or 5 hours ago, about why people do this to themselves. That's the title of the video. Okay? The whole point of that video was to demonstrate and explain to you guys, to teach you that miserable people, misery loves company. Miserable people who don't know anything will make everyone else miserable. Doesn't matter if they're your friend or your family member, or you're in the same job, or you're in the same walk of life, or you're both poor, you're both living comfortably. It doesn't matter. Miserable people will be tied to this mindset in life, right? Because they're ignorant, and they will make other people, they'll basically spread that to other people, and pull people down that path because misery loves company. Wow, right? Well, that was a video I made before this one. This video is very similar to that video, I think, because without meaning to make it similar, all right, I just realized that if you're attractive and people are offended, or they don't like that, so you're gonna get a hard time, because they're miserable and they're trying to make you miserable too, because they think that you offend them. Ultimately, you don't want to offend them. You're not even trying. You're just being who you are. You can't help the skin that the skin right, the skin suit God put you in, right? Your face, or your hair, or your body, your figure. You can't help that. They know that. They don't care, right? So this isn't talked about enough, because maybe it makes people uncomfortable. I don't know. Maybe people just don't think it's worth talking about because, looks, whatever, like, looks don't matter. Yes, they do. All right. Um, Taking care of your body matters. Looks matter. I say that because people who are good looking will be at the receiving end of negativity from these wretched NPCs, okay? These people out here that are offended that God made you a certain way. You don't have to believe in God, that's fine. I'll just say it this way. People are offended the way nature made you, or the universe put your cells together, or your DNA, or whatever. People are offended that maybe you had attractive parents, so you were born and now you're attractive. I know it doesn't really work that way, but I'm just going to put that out there because that does happen, all right? I know that happens sometimes. So, how do you deal with this? Or, you're maybe asking, well, what do we do? Like, what's the solution? The solution is that the negative people know, like I said, they know that you have no power over that. They know you can't help how you look or how you were born. Obviously, nature did it, nature did it, not them, not you. All right? But since all they see is your physical attributes, right? And the human condition, since people are, they lack maturity, they lack the confidence, they lack the self love, they lack the self esteem and self worth internally, they're going to just hate you for being you. And you may be asking, what do I do about it? Well, ultimately, any environment you're in that does that to you, all right, like I said, if it's maybe a school, a workplace, well, if it's a classroom environment, you should probably take classes online. If it's a workplace, that's really tricky because, you may not want to leave your job. That's understandable. But, if you go to another job, you're probably going to get the same treatment there. Okay. And that's not good either. So you're either going to be job hopping, you're either going to be trying to switch for your academic journey to a internet, right, online school. You're going to, maybe even happens in your family. All right, maybe you're the only attractive person in your family. Let's say, all right. I know genetics don't really work that way. If there's an attractive person in the family, there's usually more. So jealousy may be limited. But let's just say you're the You're the standard in the family, okay? Whether you're a guy or a girl, doesn't matter. Or you're in a relationship and you're a standard for your spouse, or they're, um, whatever gender you are, right? You can't just leave your marriage or leave your, relationship if you're, locked in or you have a commitment or something, right? I mean, you can, but over that, most people wouldn't want to do that. If that were to happen to me, I would, but that's just me. Same with family, right? You wouldn't want to just abandon your family because they're offended that you look good. If that were to happen to me, I probably would, because that's me. That's just the person I am. But most people don't wouldn't do that and won't do that. So what do you do? Well, you're not gonna make yourself ugly, right? You're not gonna beat yourself up and scar yourself, obviously, right? Self harm is, not acceptable, and I don't condone that ever, okay, in any form. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to job hop. You don't want to, you know, you want an income. You know, as most people, right? They want to still maintain some type of income. You want to have an education, right, or stay in school, right? So I guess the solution is that I'm rambling at this point, I guess, but the solution is that you really have to. The only solution is, if you don't want to leave or you can't leave, you can't change environment, is to just still love yourself with all that gusto that you still have for yourself. Because what these people do is when they're offended by you, they're going to treat you a certain way. They're going to try to cut you down, project on you, and make you feel less than. It happens all the time, in relationships, especially, right? In one person's secure, the other person's insecure, and they'll try to, make the other person feel less than. It doesn't even have to be relationships. It can just be in dating in general, or two friends getting to know each other, right? If they sense, they get jealous and then they try to downplay your achievements, okay? It happens. So what you do is you have to avoid being discouraged and just understand that these people have issues, and theirs issues are not small. All right. These issues are how they cope with how much they don't like themselves. Okay. Um, and it could be even deeper than that. Maybe they actually don't, they hate themselves, or, you know, um, you hear this talk about body positivity everywhere all the time. Well, so supposedly, a non-attractive person, for example, I'll just say a non-attractive person will still be confident in their own skin because of body positivity, right? Well, a lot of that's BS, because a lot of these people that claim that still aren't attracted to the body that they were put in. They aren't they have no esteem still, even though they claim their, you know, body positivity, or whatever you call it. I might be saying it wrong, but I think that's what it's called. All right. So I just wanted to make a video about this because it's not talked about enough. Nobody talks about this. I wasn't even gonna talk about it because I was like, this might be superficial, but, and I try not to do that, but I figured out that no, this can affect a lot of people, and it's actually happened to me. Okay. Um, but so I'm speaking from experience too, as well here. Um, and what it does is it makes you stronger, or it's either going to make you stronger, or it's going to make you let yourself go. So you're going to basically end up like them, okay? Just like not taking care of yourself, okay? And so if you don't take care of yourself, obviously, your body may not reflect that, okay? Um, it'll reflect how well you take care of your body or how well you don't. So basically, you end up at their level. Or you can choose to just keep going and not, you know, be discouraged to a point where you diminish your self love and your self worth. And, you make sure that you don't outsource your worth to, what they think of you, or outsource your worth to, oh, I offend everyone because I'm attractive. Oh no, that's bad. I gotta really humble myself. No, if you're attractive, guys, and you don't even you basically act like you're not, but you love yourself, you're attractive, you take care of your body, but you act like you're not attractive, and people are still offended at you, you're doing nothing wrong, okay? And it's on them, all right? A lot of these people just, man, like, I don't want to get on here and complain, but I gotta talk about this. A lot of people out here are so broken. A lot of people out here, they cannot fathom being a whole, like a healthy individual in the mind, okay, and maybe the body too if they're not healthy, right? But I just wanted to make a video about this, okay? So like always, support the channel, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe, and click the bell, okay? Support the channel. We're growing every day. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you didn't, uh, thank you for watching. I will still continue to make videos whether you enjoy them or not. All right, so have a good one.